Hello, everybody. Good Wednesday afternoon. Welcome to 757 Lacrosse Hour. Mark Hargrave, and I don't know who's sitting beside me here. I'm not sure who this guy is. He just flew in from Mars. So is that Scott Holava?
There's a mouse over here somewhere.
It is. It's got the same body.
I got some emoji cons in my screen view. Oh, that's why my eyes are moving.
Scott boy.
Holy smokes! How's everybody doing today?
His eyes are coming out of his head. Because
so
we got a team going to the state finals, baby. We love it. We love it.
Smoked. I don't think I can read this.
No, look, I got my. Now this is actually a dedication to Kellam and not Catholic. I got my black and gold with a little bit of green mixed in for Kellam today. But welcome everybody, and look, you know, we wanted to try to get an elephant here in the room, but we don't need to, right? The top story is Kellam High School is going to the 5A state final on Saturday to play Riverside. Congratulations, Coach Aiello and the rest of the coaches and the players. Fantastic
Coach
job.
Bird, Coach Nady, Coach Line.
Absolutely. Yep.
Coach Menger.
Amazing.
Awesome run, fellas. The elephant in the room, though.
Yeah.
Former coach sitting here on the podcast gets to talk about his former team. It's obviously been a challenging season for myself, but it's been a joy to watch these guys do what they do. Coach Hargrave. It's really been a run to see it. Really kind of hand the keys to the Ferrari off to the guys, and they took that thing and drove it right to the state championship game.
They did. We're really proud of those guys. We've been talking for 2 months about we need teams going far in this area into state playoffs, and you guys did it, and you should be incredibly proud of yourselves. And we were both at that game yesterday, and again, just an amazing effort. I'll tell you one kid who impressed me. I gotta call him out. We haven't really talked much about him. Is Jacob Leonard. Jacob, you were a kid who we had on my club team when the boys were little, and what you lacked in skill, you always made up for in heart. And I'll tell you, your skill has caught up. And I'm super proud watching you yesterday. He had a
Coach
great
Hargrave,
game.
we call that the honey badger tendencies.
He really does.
And he embodies
He
all
plays
of that,
super hard, man. I'm super proud of him and all the guys. And you guys deserve all the accolades you're getting. Look, Riverside's a good team. I think Coach Aiello, I was talking with him this morning. I think he mentioned maybe they're 3-time state champions. And I've watched 2 games this year where I'm going to talk to the Kellam kids, coaches, and the parents right now, where it doesn't matter who you play. I watched Norfolk Academy in person get their fannies kicked against Stab at Norfolk Academy 21-4, and then come back less than a month later and be tied with those guys in the third quarter and lose by 1 or 2 in a state quarterfinal game. That was incredible. They came back and they played them great, and they had those guys. They had them right on the ropes, and Stab is an incredibly talented team who went to the state final. And then even Catholic, who got absolutely throttled the first time they played Norfolk Academy, came back in the fourth quarter and had a 9-8 and almost won the TCIS again. So Kellam kids, it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what they've done. You guys go out there Saturday and give them everything you got, and we are wishing you the best of luck and bring home that state championship.
Yeah, fellas, you know what we say anyway. It's not about them anyway.
That's right.
It's about us. All right. It's about what we're gonna do. So just keep controlling your own controllables, and then go play hard and have fun and take care of each other like you guys do. Loved the body language of the group.
Absolutely,
you
great
see
point.
that together. The sidelines, the on the field. The games get tough at the end sometimes.
Yeah.
They might get a little chippy. That kind of stuff starts to happen. The end, and the reality of the end starts to sink in sometimes. So, but again, they get to play one more time, Coach. So
that's the best, man.
Now
Keep
again, back to I have to always call it the nonsense that I see. We got a 10 a.m. face-off.
Yeah,
Saturday morning.
For Saturday. That to me is insane. Why the hell are you playing a game at 10 o'clock in the morning other than
Coach
club?
Beanie? There she is. We got
What's up, Beanie?
Are we the U10?
I mean,
are we the U10
come
travel
on,
team?
dude. Even in club, they try to put the high school guys later
10
because
a.m.
they're teenagers.
Holy
Yeah, I
smokes.
don't understand that at all.
Well,
I mean, for both teams, that to me, You got to do better than that. I agree.
Controllables, but okay,
Yep.
who cares? We'll get there.
Now, were those guys going to go up the night before? I forgot to ask Coach.
We got a fancy bus ride.
Nice,
And
okay.
a fancy hotel room. It's probably
Cool.
like the low budget inn, I think.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
somewhere.
okay.
Hopefully
Did
they
you drop
got
in?
some security.
That's all right.
Yeah. No weapons allowed, of course.
Great point,
So,
though.
yeah.
I'm not. I don't get that. Push it back a little bit. Let the kids get a good night rest. And
Is there some other stuff happening? I'm not really not knowing what's happening. For the
no,
rest
and
of the
look,
day,
and
but
and we and again, Kellam deserves the credit, and they, you know,
Patrick Henry, kudos to them.
Yeah.
You know, coming in too. Again,
yep,
they're,
it's a long bus ride.
they're a perennial strong team over and over here. What was the final 9-5 last night?
Yeah, 9-4, 9-5, or something like that. Yep.
I'm going to go down a list here really quick on just shout out some of the Kellam guys.
Sure.
All right. Really, really nice play. Starting at the dot, Jake Lyons. Again, when they don't have the ball, they can't score. And Jake really does a great job at the X. But, you know, he really, again, back to the Honey Badger tendencies and qualities, this kid totally has it. I mean, he had one, he got trail checked in the game, and I think he turned back around, comes back, and then gets the ball back and takes it back because
Never given up.
it's freaking his. Jake Leonard, we talked about him.
Yeah,
You know,
very impressive.
Yeah, he had 3 goals, I think, in the game. Again, I'm not an attack guy. I don't really care about your points.
No, it was more the effort for me than the scoring. You're
he
playing
was-
attack, you better score.
I thought he was
Sorry,
face
guys.
guarded in
Yeah.
the game, actually. Which again, I probably would have face guarded too, not Lenny. But again, 3 goals. Okay, great job by him. You know, Janady, of course,
Very talented,
player
very
of the
quick.
year,
Mhm.
8 billion points for his career. Again,
Yeah.
he's always going to draw the top guy. So you know, kudos to Evan for handling the matchups. And including the rest of his teammates, and to his rest of his teammates, Coach Hargrave, for really stepping up. And that's where the depth of Kellam just it's just deep. So everybody
Exactly.
can play. The whole roster can play, really. But I'm gonna keep going down here. I mean, Cole, one of the other attackmen, I thought he had a big second quarter, which
He
again
did.
I thought. Maybe let Kellam exhale a little bit. I thought
Yeah.
everyone was a little nervous in the beginning.
Sure, that first quarter was I think for both teams was a bit a lot of
Gripping
nerves.
my
and-
old stick so tight.
Yeah.
But anyway, of course, one of my favorites because he wears number 11, the greatest number in sports history. Jack Kelly, LSM,
Much improved.
all over the field on the grounders. Man, he just again my favorite stat is grounder. But again, back to our culture at Kellam. I'm gonna say our culture. We don't care what length stick you have, Coach Hargrave. I mean,
Yeah.
you do everything. So the Poles play offense, the Poles play defense, the Shorties play defense. Everybody does everything. So when we get in the reality of a game, we're not freaked out about doing something extra. I mean,
Right.
the kid. I think maybe I'll give Jack a little crap. Maybe work on the shooting a little bit, Jack. Could hit a couple goals. But
All goals.
really good job, man. Put the pressure on him, okay? And again, when your attack does a good job, we don't care if you miss. We're going to get the ball anyway. We'll be back there.
That's right.
I get to talk about my own kid.
Oh, he
Now
had
I'm
a couple
dad.
great plays, man.
I'm a
Mikey
dad
had a
coach,
couple
Mikey
fantastic
Holava.
plays.
Again, as a coach, talking to my own kid, you know, we say, be ready when your number gets called,
That's right.
okay? And be the best teammate.
Yep.
Okay? And again, just as a dad watching that, I couldn't be more proud of that.
Those guys are great teammates to each
Yeah,
other.
absolutely.
I'm very impressed by that. I'm watching that on the sideline as much as the game.
Mikey runs it as I think it's a midi.
Yeah.
On the Marlins, I think we call it a 4-man. He
Yeah.
runs it as a 4-man, totally out of his element. But again, who cares? Whatever.
Right.
I got on the field, makes a great catch, gets a turn, gets a push from behind call, draws a penalty for his team. Right? Then minutes later, he's subbing in the game, chasing the pole from Patrick Henry off the field, and as he's exiting, does the Harry Houdini pickpocket of some kid, gets a turnover, exiting the field, which is a total what do they call it, juice play or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
The bench got pumped, the stands got bumped. I got goosebumps anyway. Mikey, nice job, son.
Yeah.
Gavin in the cage. I mean, God bless you, buddy. Most of the time you're sitting there bored, waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yeah.
So the mental toughness to be ready
Yeah.
when it happens, good job, pal. and
Kieran
awesome,
All too. Kieran All is very
awesome
improved.
leadership.
Another kid I've watched since he's little.
Another one, just great leadership.
Just getting better. That's what we want to see is these kids improving, and that's the greatest thing for us as coaches to watch these kids improve. That you don't want to have them hit a plateau in 10th or 11th grade, and when they come back and do that, it is just so great to see. Really, really good job, guys. Yep, awesome. And again, the decorum. Coach Holava talked about it early on in the podcast. It's like, yeah, coaches have favorites. Well, we do as podcasters too. I've had people say to me, "Why do you talk so much about NSA?" And it's the way they handle themselves too, guys. It's you can be a good team, and if you act like a bunch of knuckleheads, sorry, you're not gonna. It doesn't impress me because you have the rest of your life to act like a knucklehead. So if you act that way and you handle yourself the way that Kellam did and NSA, and I have to say Catholic too, those guys do a great job of it. Sorry, they do. That's the person you're going to be in life. So to me, that's even more impressive than scoring a goal and winning the game.
I call it the social IQ, Coach.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to keep going down the Kellam list here because there's a lot of guys. And really, to the seniors that are graduating, Gav, Kieran, Ab, others, not many. The team is young as heck. So.
Yeah, they got a lot coming back.
Liam Schaefer, 17 on D. Again, he's pretty locked down as well. Does all the plays that you need to make.
Smart player.
Yeah. Middies, Elijah and Gray.
Yeah.
Really, really great years, guys. Sophomores.
Yeah.
Stepping up big time. And again, we'll get to our all region team.
Well, I'm selfish too here because I have the pleasure this summer of coaching the FCA 2026 team. So I got Colt, I got Shafe, I got Elijah, I got a bunch of those guys, playing for me this summer. So I'd root for you anyway, fellas. But I'm super excited to have those guys back with us starting Sunday to see what they can do against some really good club competition. We're going to play some good tournaments. So I'm so excited to have those guys with us.
It's about that time of year, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to get them back. They're going to help us tremendously. Do you want me to go down this all-region team?
I say we hit that. We had a lot of our local guys from teams do really well here. I'm gonna share this one with you, Coach. Here you go. We got first and second.
Right there. First and second. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's go first team first. Player of the year, Evan Giannati, well deserved. Like Coach said, he had 8,000 points in his career. Coach of the year, Levi Charity.
200, I think, was 200. The number I saw as of last night. So. Man,
I don't think I had that in my backyard growing up. Coach of the year, Levi Charity from Bayside. Those guys, we've talked about them. They did a nice job this year. A lot of good athletes. First team attacked, Evan Giannati, Liam Waldron from Cox, and Jake Carnell from Cox. All three seniors. Well deserved. At midfield, Gray Schleicher, who we just talked about, Luke Kindle from Princess Anne, Luke Rhodes from Cox, and Elijah Lamb from Kellam High School. Defense, Kieran Ald, Jeff Mitchell, who we had as a young guy at Cox, real good player, and Liam Schaefer, who's a sophomore. So nice job, fellas. The other defenseman was Sawyer Adams from Ocean Lakes, who's a junior. Nice job, Sawyer. Short stick, D-Middy, Matt Rogers from Kellam. Also a guy who, doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, Maddie, sorry, I left you off my list there. Maddie, again, he's in the spirit of a Chase Yeager.
Yeah.
We had on the show. Okay, Maddie.
Super important, Matt.
Came to Kellam, became a captain right away. He's that kind of person and a leader, in my opinion.
He's going to be important Saturday,
yeah.
buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Noah McCarty, who I watched last week in Summer League. Man, that kid, Jess pointed it out.
We got the Marlin connection with the parents for sure.
Play, man, he can play.
Love Noah.
Jake Lyons, who we've talked about a million times, well-deserved face-off. And then Gavin Sinrem, who's a senior goalie, first team. Let's do second team. We'll run through this here. Second team attack, Cole Hicksonbow. Sorry, Cole, I hope I got that right. From Kellam, who's a senior. Chris Hall at First Colonial. Nice job, Chris. I watched you play. You did a real nice job in the couple games I watched you. And Matt Lawrence from Princess Anne, who's a junior, along with Sawyer Dole, from Princess Anne, senior. Midfield, Derek Lindenberg from Princess Anne, Bo Maxwell at Kellam, and Matt Goodman from Cox, who's a senior as well, and then Daniel Shattuck from Ocean Lakes, who's a junior. On defense, Larson Mackey, Princess Anne Jr., Will Slevin, who I know your dad, Frank, good man. Frank's a good man, another medical device rep. Mm-hmm. Defense from Cox. And Michael Collins, also from Cox, who's a junior. And then one of my club guys, Dylan LeBasey from Ocean Lakes, who's a sophomore. Nice job, Dill. You're getting better every year, brother. Short stick defensive midi, Craig Owens from Bayside, who's a senior, well-deserved. Another long stick midi, David Throckmorton from First Colonial, who's a sophomore. Love to see you out at FCA, David. Where are you? Come out, buddy. We need you.
Keep playing.
Face off, Brandon Heath from Princess Anne, who's a senior. Nice job, Brandon. And then Troy Thaxton in goal from Kempsville, who is a junior. Rounded out the all-region team.
Yeah, Coach,
good job, guys.
You can give a shout out to the Cox coaching staff as well. Coach Ferries, Coach Oakley, Coach Zerp. Good job this year again, leading the Falcons up. They had a tough game against Patrick Henry on Friday night as well. So,
yeah.
Kudos to you guys for getting in there and keep on growing the game, growing your team.
Yeah, and public guys, like Coach has said, to get out and play Summer League. I saw a lot of you out there last week, but we need twice the amount of you guys going out and play. You got some good players from some of the private schools as well out there, so you get your chance to sort of go against those guys and show what you got. We got a flyover here. Is the president here?
Sound of freedom.
Love it.
Go.
So we
like boats too, Luke Holava. We like boats.
We got two great guests today. We have somebody on who gets the brunt of things a lot, and Coach Holava made a great point, is we have to humanize our refs. He said this before on the podcast, but we really do. We got a great one who's a Virginia Wesleyan alum, a guy I played club lacrosse with for a long time, knows the game, wants you guys to get better, wants you guys to understand the rules and progress lacrosse. He wants it as much as Scott and I and anybody else does, and that's Scott Robertson. And then we have a secret special guest coming on after that. This was all Coach Holava, man. You kids are going to love it. But we'll take a quick break.
Scotty Roberts, just quickly.
Yeah.
Super talented artist. Just
yes. I remember. I remember playing club.
We actually do other stuff besides lacrosse. That's why we're awesome.
I played drums badly. I think I asked him one time years ago. And I asked him, like, hey, you want to play? And then I probably thought better about it once I watched him play and went,
let's go.
I don't want to do that. So we'll be right back. And thank you guys for tuning in. See you in a minute.
I'm Dr. Mark Cardelia, orthopedic surgeon and surgical director of the CHKD Sports Medicine Program. We see a lot of knee injuries in student athletes these days, and many of these are ACL tears. Parents often ask how to know when a knee injury may be serious. The most obvious symptom is severe pain or swelling in the knee joint. Your child may have heard a pop when the injury occurred. Look for signs they can't put weight on the knee around 48 hours after the injury, or if the knee feels unstable or wobbly. Those are all signs you should see a CHKD sports medicine specialist. Our sports medicine physicians, surgeons, athletic trainers, and physical therapists understand the needs of growing athletes and tailor treatment to fit each child's age and level of activity. Our goal is to accurately diagnose the problem in a timely fashion and provide the treatment that will ensure a safe return to activity. Kids want to play, and we want to help them get back in the game. To learn more, visit chkd.org. Sports medicine at CHKD. We're more than a hospital.
I have to apologize about that.
No, we made correct right away.
Yeah, oh my God.
We embrace our failures.
First correction of the day, not the last for Hargrave. I claim I know this guy for a long time, which we do. We know each other a long time. Scott Roberts, not Robertson. I was trying to add an extra couple letters on the last name, but Scott Roberts.
He was Coach Hargrave. I think was just he was mesmerized by my.
I'm getting old, Scott.
By my ref
uniform,
which has a hitting meaning to it, by the way.
What's that?
In case you didn't tell what color it was.
Oh well, that's gonna come in a few minutes here, folks.
Foreshadowing.
So
I'm a ref too. See?
Scotty Roberts, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me on. I love the podcast. I love what you guys do. I love the positivity. I love that you are building the sport. And I think this is just a great stepping stone that's going to help everybody. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. The first question I got to ask, Scott, is why the hell are you a ref? What did you get yourself into? Are you crazy?
It's the money.
Taking all this stuff from parents and coaches, so hopefully not kids. But what are you nuts?
I've learned to love it.
I'm just kidding. I'm teasing.
No, I do. I actually started reffing when I was in high school. So to all the high school players watching,
awesome.
We're always looking for youth referees, and that's when I started. And then, I got into coaching and stuff afterwards, but I'm active. I like to be on the field. I like to be part of the game. But it is a challenge. It's a challenging thing.
Scott, what's the age for the youth refs? Like, how old do I have to be to
Great
put on
question.
the stripes? Put on the stripes.
That is a good question. One that I do not know the answer. We can follow up. Tom Bell is the guy who trains and schedules and everything. So maybe we could get a link to him or something. But he's the person who we need to talk to. I want to say it's probably 16. But
Yeah, that sounds
don't.
right. Scott, you know what I like the best about that though? Is that again the kids are going to walk in different shoes there. They're going to have a different perspective.
Much different.
They're just going to again know the game really thoroughly by having to know the rules. If you're going to be good at it, you want to know the rules of the game. So again, but to me the perspective is looking at the game from refs eyeballs.
Yeah.
Really. But
What is has being a ref changed you as a person at all? Has it made you think even differently in life about stuff, about relationships with people, about handling objections, even for work or dealing with different personalities? Has that helped you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I want to say that I've taken away from reffing is just taking a breath before, like people expect a foul happens on the field, a slash happens and a flag should come out right away. But take your time as a ref in everything in life, like process things in your brain before, they come out as words or as actions. And as a referee, like we take it very serious with our job on the field, and it's very important. Like it could change the outcome of the game. And so we want to make sure that, you have the correct call. And sometimes we make the wrong call, and then we have to backtrack. We discuss, we figure out what is the correct call. So just patience in life, patience in everything. And then, and just, I guess the other thing is just learning to take criticism. And that's fine.
Which is hard because in life, right, let's be honest, you probably, meaning more us as coaches and even parents, right, you probably wouldn't talk to somebody the way a coach might yell at you or the way a parent might yell from the stands. If we were just at work and you make a mistake, you're not going to say, "What the hell are you doing? How can you do that? What's wrong with you?" Right? So it's got to be very self-effacing, and also maybe the way you look at other people, how to handle things in life. So that's a great point, right? Like
I guess that that's probably a better way to put it. Just how to handle things in life. That's a good takeaway from reffing lacrosse. I think officiating in general.
Right. What are one or two rules that you think about all the time in the game, or even after the game, probably even more, that you feel coaches and players don't know?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, I'll say first off that I'm learning all the time. And I feel like all our officials are learning all the time. And we will constantly call each other and ask questions about these nuanced rules that might come up once a season or once every other season. But we want to know that we have the right call when they do come up.
Sure.
But as far as just like one specific, I feel like offsides is one where I'll have screamed a coach going, they only have two guys back. They only have two guys back. And the thing is like we always say we count forward.
Sure.
All right. If there's
I like that.
If there's six guys
I've never heard that.
on the offensive side of the field, they're not offsides.
Right.
And potentially you could have a delayed substitution, which would potentially be a foul. But just because there's two guys back on the field doesn't mean they're offsides.
Right. Can you explain to us how the officiating works? How many guys optimally you want at a game, and how do you guys manage the field?
Well, I'm going to backtrack a little bit first before we go.
Come on, what's wrong with you?
The politician in me. Just so you know, these views are mine and mine alone. Like, I do not speak for all other lacrosse referees. I do not speak for the HRLOA, our local reffing association. So these are all my views alone. But we typically have 3 men on the field for a high school varsity game. For JV and some youth league, it's generally 2. But it's a very important part and something we stress as we're getting better as officials is that we are in the correct spots. And there's as the ball transitions up and down the field, there's correct spots that the officials are supposed to be at in order to be in the right place to make the correct calls. And we stress being in those spots.
Scott, is there too at the younger levels because of lack of people reffing, or just because the kids are smaller?
Good question.
They run slower.
I mean, I feel like it's just progress. You know, for the longest time, it was only 2 officials on any varsity game, and we've just recently, within the last probably 3 or 4 years, transitioned to 3-man crews. And that extra the extra set of eyes is super vital, especially for a high-level varsity game. Not to say that it can't be done with 2, but there's a lot that goes on. You know, there's a lot. There's
That's my
there's
argument.
20 guys on the field, and you know, you have the guys that are sitting behind the half. You know, if it's on offense, there's 7 guys on one side of the field, and you know, we're not looking at those guys. There's a lot that goes on.
That's again where I look at our league and the infancy of our league, and you know, we've had 3 at the varsity game, so we've had that. Thank God. You know, I can't imagine not having that. I'm curious. It's quick. You got the NCAA rules, and then we got our high school rules. But what's your thoughts on those? 'Cause Coach and I think we should play the college rules, basically.
Right.
It's the same. I mean,
Absolutely. And like as officials, we talk about it all the time. Not that I can speak for everybody, but I can pretty much say that everybody agrees that the NCAA rules would be their preference of the way to officiate a game.
Why is that, Scott?
I feel like the NCAA is definitely, you know, they're on the forefront of the rule changes that are trying to make the game better.
Yeah.
And
safer,
and
better.
as officials, most of us are doing, you know, if we're doing the private schools, we're obviously doing NCAA games. Eventually, you know, a lot of the officials want to move up and do potential college games. And it'd be so much easier, you know, if we just had one rule set and that's all we focused on. But the reality is that we have 2, and you know, it's just because the way that the public high schools, you know, the governing bodies, and it's the way it is, and you know, we can complain about it over and over, but I don't think it's going to change.
Well, even just through shot clock, we were talking before we went on the air.
It's an
Long
expense.
Island is just getting a shot clock next year. Now you got literally hundreds of guys who are going to go play in college. And I was talking to the Port Washington
The
coach
shot
this
clock.
morning, who's a friend up in Nassau County. In the Long Island Championship game last week, there was a team, 1 possession, who had the ball for 8 minutes and 38 seconds.
You know, when do we put on? What's the delay of game? How am I doing?
I mean,
Yeah,
that is absolutely
Is it my delay of
mad.
game?
Yeah, do you like the shot clock?
The shot clock is excellent.
Yeah.
You know, it's an excellent, you know, movement in the direction that the sport needs to go, because it's a fast-paced sport. They call it the fastest sport on 2 feet.
That's right.
I would
If-
kill the
if you-
clock on offense.
Princeton.
And
Oh,
play
Princeton
keep away
style.
from the other team in my big circle offense and throw it around for 8 minutes, like
Right.
you said.
Right. No, it's
And-
we want it to be an exciting sport, and
Yeah.
Boring.
you know, the shot clock is helping it.
Yeah.
No way.
What is one rule, or both ways, one rule that you'd like to see added, or one that you'd like to see dropped? Is there anything where you would? opinion on that?
Yeah. So there was a couple years ago that there was a rule was added and then actually retracted. And what it was called was the cross-check hold. And it's basically you see so many guys. This is like one of my biggest things. Oh, we got the stick here. We got some props. So, you know, and typically, you know, we're playing and you can see, you know, I can see shaft in between the hands. And as long as it's equal pressure, that's fine. But as soon as I thrust forward,
Right.
I have a cross check. But there's, you know, you see it in college, and the high school kids are watching the college games, and they see so much of this pushing like this. And so there was a rule implemented where we called the cross check hold, where if you had, you know, a level of push that wasn't considered like a 1-minute cross check penalty, but you know, you're still hindering your opponent, that we'd call it would be a 30-second hold.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had it for like a season, maybe 2, and then they got rid of it. I thought it was a great call because you know, a shaft hurts. They're made of
As
metal.
long as
Break
you're
it
not,
down.
as long as
Yeah.
you're not moving forward, you're okay.
Uh,
I don't care if my defender's stick is trailing his attackman as well. Is that butt end hand is
Yeah.
now right?
Yeah.
He's still turning him in
Yeah.
front.
Yeah.
But me being a former defender, I say this to guys all the time, is you push with your bottom glove. Don't push with your shaft.
Excellent
If you
point.
push with your bottom glove, you can still maneuver your opponent to where you want them,
Good
but
leverage,
you're
yeah.
already loaded. You're loaded
That's
for
right.
that slaps. You push and then you're loaded.
Bada
So
bang, bada boom. Same thing with your
Quick
left
project.
hand, right? Right, Scott? It's the same thing when he's going the other way. You got your left hand doing the same pump that
Absolutely.
would be your top hand in your case, but yeah.
This is a layup question, though. I mean, obviously, it's easier and probably more enjoyable to ref games where the players are more skilled. I mean, it's got to be a little bit easier just to watch the game. Do you ever find yourself sort of watching the game too and admiring guys and like
I love it. I mean, especially talking to you two guys.
No
like
high
it's great.
fives to the players,
I've watched
nice
I've watched
play.
your sons for years, and I'm blown away by the quality of lacrosse, the goals that all your sons have scored over the years. It is our job to officiate the game, but we are part of the game, and we are. I mean, our job is to watch the game, and when I see a goal that's super pretty, I definitely take note of it.
Scott, just to speak to that, just the class of that, when I'm coaching a team, we don't want to cheer for our opponents, but it does not diminish you by honoring and recognizing good plays by your opponents, even in game.
I love that.
I mean, it's not, I'm not going to go give you a big hug and a kiss, but it's like, man, good plays are good plays.
Right. Oh, I love to hear a coach, tell the goalie from the other team, hey, that was a great save.
Yeah. Doesn't diminish you whatsoever.
Your attackman did exactly what you asked him to. He changed planes. He actually shot over the top, and then the goalie makes a great save, and the coach says, you did everything right, and the goalie made a great save.
Yeah, that's a class. That's a culture thing. That just happens in the culture.
I love it.
I'm a big body language guy. Mainly looking at my own self in the mirror, making sure I'm right. But again, I look at the group. I can see the team's body language. And one thing I always teach the guys is in reference to our refs. My worst position to the ref is me giving him this.
Yes. Yeah.
Anybody giving him this, palms up.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Again, sometimes it's tough. Sometimes we think their call was crap.
Yeah.
Okay? But again, I have to emotionally regulate myself, which is a challenge for me, as many of you know. But yeah, I just can't be doing that. It is what it is. It's next play mentality. Move on.
Right.
Okay, move on. Go stop this. Go stop the man up.
I think this is probably more of a question for parents, and I hope we have as many people as we've had listen to Scott answer this. What can people do better, really more parents and sometimes kids, to understand the rules and to understand what your job is? Because when you go watch, a high-level game in a Baltimore, Long Island, upstate New York, my opinion is, I've watched many of them, is the parents sometimes are more educated about the game and will give less of, come on, what the hell is that? But what can people do?
He was offsides.
To better
offsides.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, and like to go back to your point about different places, I feel like just different cultures have their dad probably played lacrosse, and maybe their granddad played lacrosse, so it's kind of more of a legacy thing where it's understood better. And I almost feel like that's an advantage being a referee around here, is some of the parents don't know the rules. No. So they're yelling at me, that's a foul. I'm like, tell me what foul it is and maybe I'll call it, Sure. No, that's a joke. But as far as getting better, just watching as much lacrosse, we're blessed that we have so many more NCAA games that are broadcast on television.
Easy.
Watch it and then watch it from a different perspective. I as a player, when I watched an NCAA game, I watched it from a player's point of view, and then as a coach, I started to watch more of different setups that they put their offense in, or different plays that the offense was running, or like a man down defense. And then now that I'm a referee, I watch it from a referee's perspective. I'm like, was that the call that I would have made? Am I seeing the same stuff that ref is? Perspective is huge.
Well, you're trying to get better.
Trying to get better.
I've been saying that for 7 weeks on this thing, that nobody knows everything. Mm-hmm. Okay? Yeah. We're not perfect.
I'll be the first one to say I've never called a perfect game. I'm sure I never will call a perfect game, but I do my best.
Yes, and that's all you can ask for. And I love that you guys communicate with one another. I think that's great. You do it as a coaching staff. You get together after the game and even the next day and say, hey, what did we do well? What do we need to work on? What do we need to game plan for the next game that we're playing? And to hear that you guys do that is
Absolutely
not surprising at all, but it's great. It's great
Yeah.
to hear that.
And like I said, I can't speak for all the other referees, but with our association locally, we do focus on. We talk a lot. We are constantly sending text messages, making phone calls. Asking about these nuanced rules. And always just trying to be better. And, just to throw out a couple names. Wes Sams, he does a great job of assigning and putting the correct officials on the games, kind of matching the level of play.
Right.
I
Because
didn't know how that seemed. I thought that was by design. When I see you guys out there,
absolutely.
who's
Yeah.
with who,
and
working
it's-
together, it makes sense. But
it's
I
a
didn't
challenge
know.
with, if you got 10 different games on one day,
Yeah.
and you only have, the pool of officials is only so big.
How many is that? Sorry to interrupt you. How many?
Oh,
you
that's
know?
a good question. Not enough.
Yeah.
No, the answer is not enough.
Good answer.
And I'm always trying to talk to, I talk to anybody who's been in the game. And, I don't want to take away from any coaches and, or however you want to carry the game forward, but we are always looking for officials. And it's not an easy job. And
No.
I feel like, that's part of the challenge of it, but it is really rewarding. And it's fun that I get to watch your guys' sons and do what they do. And not just your
Stay
son.
part of the game.
Anybody who's watching it.
Help the
All
community
the
get
high
better.
school players this season, I have thoroughly enjoyed watching every bit of the lacrosse that you play. I do miss coaching because I miss interacting with you guys more, but I love seeing your play. I love seeing how it's elevated throughout the season. I love to see the team at the beginning of the year maybe struggle a little bit and get better every game. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Keep
Scotty,
practicing.
I love you out there when I'm coaching the games because
Same.
not that I expect you to coach my team, but you coach the kids.
Yes, I've heard you do it many
always,
times, too.
You're always
Yes.
helping, man. You're always
Yeah.
helping everybody be better, which is all we're trying to do. And again, Coach Hargrave and I told you lockstep on this. We don't care about the outcome of the games.
No.
We could care less. Okay, our culture and what we're trying to do with the group leads to the winning. So we
Yes,
don't
it
care
does.
about outcomes. It's not about that. It's about how we treat each other, how we get along.
Yes.
And again, I say that as an imperfect person. It doesn't always do it right all the time. So again.
My last question
Yeah.
for you, and this
Really
is probably
good.
the most important one, and again, we're hoping the kids are watching. What is acceptable for a player to say to you and ask you? We probably know
Great
what's
question,
unacceptable.
great
But what is the limit to where a player can come up respectfully and talk to you?
I think that's the thing. I'm not saying what is right or wrong. It's normally how it's approached. If a play happens and I throw a flag, or maybe I don't throw a flag and I see a tackman, throwing his arm up, throw the flag, ref, throw the flag, ref.
Oh yeah.
That's not changing. That's not changing my mind. It's not changing my opinion of the call. But if you come talk to me, it's still probably not going to change my opinion of the call. But just find a second in between and say, hey ref, on that last drive, that attackman, he got me 3 times, on the elbow or whatever.
Sure.
I'm just the way that you approached it.
I always-
That's the way to do
Are
it.
you saying that could maybe be a good life lesson? on
Life
how to
lesson.
talk to people
Life
too?
lesson.
My father
Right.
always said there's about 5 or 6 different ways to ask someone a question.
It's
You have to understand how to do it
Your
correctly
social
with different
IQ.
people.
I love
Yep.
that.
Social IQ.
I love that.
Scott, I would always say just on my team that nobody talks to the ref except for the captains can talk to the ref.
Yeah, I mean,
Coach
I like
can
it.
talk to the
I
ref.
like when players talk to me, especially if they have a question. And obviously, there's certain times, within the game
That's
that
okay.
it's
Maybe-
appropriate. But if you got a question, man, I want to circle back to this. I love the sport of lacrosse.
I
Like
worry
it
about
is,
the
it
questioning
has
of the
changed so
call,
much
though.
of my life, like the trajectory of my life. It's like it'd be another half an hour of this podcast to talk about it. But
Told you
I
that's
want to
fine.
help
I
all the
told
guys
you.
get better in
Yeah.
any way that I can do that. Please ask me the question or
There you
whatever comes up.
Well, Scotty, thank you for joining us. I think you're going to want to stick around for our next 2 guests. It's going to be fun here. But thank you for everything you're doing, and continue the great work.
Thank
and
you guys.
You
Appreciate you,
little
brother. Love
guys
you,
and
man.
older guys who want to ref, Get out there. We need you. We'll be right back, folks.
We're easy to find, guys. We got
Yep.
our website. Hit us up. There's a bunch of forums on there. Get us your info, man. We'll connect you to whomever it is, all right?
Scotty Roberts.
Thanks, Scotty. Love you, man.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. You need John Maynard. PFP, LUTCF, EA, all those initials behind his name mean he's qualified to work on your taxes. He's an ATA, accredited tax advisor. He's an ATP, accredited tax preparer. He's a fellow at NTPI, the National Tax Practice Institute. And if all that weren't enough, he's also been voted the best of Norfolk and the best of Virginia Beach Awards. John Maynard has been professionally trained in tax preparation and representation. He brings to the table over 30 years' experience in federal and state returns. He delivers personalized, one-on-one service, and he's a certified electronic filer. The IRS likes electronic filers. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service, 455-6763.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar, IV hydration and vitamin therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
Rock and roll music for us.
We got rock and roll.
We ask, we
Copyrighted?
receive.
Copyrighted? There we go.
All right, what's going on, fellas?
Pieces are falling
How's
off
it going?
here now.
What's going on? Coach Holava, you want to do the introduction?
going on?
Two fine young men?
Look at this. Amazing. So, as Coach Hargrave and I have reached out to Quentin Kessenich and Anish, telling them that we're basically going to take their jobs here at Virginia Beach. We line up the greatest guests in the history of guests.
That's right.
And I'm, of course, talking about Colby Geddis over here. Everybody's going, who's Colby Geddis? And of course, Jordan, being from Syracuse, most of my closet's orange. So the only green I could find was my beautiful ref shirt I got here today to honor our refs here. But we got the Jordan Faison of the national championship fighting Irish on the show today. But wow, what an awesome honor having you guys on. It's just a really cool story for me personally. Just as I like to say, lacrosse is life. As a 57-year-old guy looking at my group text of all my besties, if you will. There's like a dozen of us on there. We talk every day. It's amazing. But again, through all of this, Colby's pop and I, high school best friends, Coach Hargrave.
Nice, love it.
Upstate New York at Liverpool. I got down to Virginia Beach basically when Colby's pop was going to Old Dominion, and a bunch of my other buddies were down there, so I dragged my ass down here, and here we are today. But bringing our upstate New York lacrosse mentality. No offense, Coach Hargrave.
No, listen, Long Island can take it. We can take it. We know who the best is. It's fine. So, fellas, my first question: you guys are both grown up in Florida, is that correct?
Yes.
Right, both Florida boys. Talk to us a
I'm
little
hoping
bit
to have the
about
little
the.
kid picture. I can't get those on there yet.
All right, well, we'll get it up. Talk to us a little bit,
Tiny
guys,
Jordan.
about the landscape of Florida lacrosse growing up there and how that was.
I'll go first. When we were younger, it was definitely a lot. It wasn't as good as it is now.
Western Warriors, let's go.
In the past couple of years, it's kind of blown up a lot recently. But yeah, I mean, when we were younger, it was like for a Florida team to go up north and play teams travel, whether you were 7 or even like getting to middle school, it was rare. Like not a lot of teams went up north. It was a lot of just staying within Florida. You might play a team in Georgia. I remember when we were like 7 or 8, we played like I think like Jokers or something from Georgia, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever because
Yeah.
it was a team that wasn't from Florida. But as we got older, especially, I mean, Jordan went to Long Island to play. It's starting to expand a lot, and it's definitely gotten a lot bigger.
We got some Team 91 guys here out of Virginia Beach as well.
Yeah,
A couple guys
absolutely. Yeah, and they've done a good job there growing the game and getting great coaches down there. And I think that's been there's great athletes all over, but certainly in Florida, like here in Virginia. But I think you guys would probably agree the coaching down there has been tremendous at the youth levels to get everybody up to speed. Jordan, I have a question for you, and it's an obvious one, but I think it's important for young kids to hear it. How do you manage two sports and, more importantly, academics not at any college, right? Let alone at a Notre Dame at that level. What are you
Tiger
doing
Son,
to
Bowl
prepare
MVP,
yourself
by the
to
way.
handle that situation?
Yeah, 100%. I'd say it sort of started in high school. I kind of had, I would say, issues with procrastination and kind of putting work off later. And I thought it wasn't really a big deal until I got to the next level, especially with my schedule. And, having the amount of work and the amount of practice, and not a lot of time to do like my own stuff. It's kind of procrastination is something you have to deal with. And that's probably one of the biggest things I've had to deal with. But you have to have set schedules. You have to have a daily regimen. You got to follow. You got to be hard on yourself, disciplined on yourself to follow that regimen and not kind of waver or fall off any of it. Because if you do, you're going to be behind on something, and that's going to, take a toll on you. So not having that procrastination is huge, and just focus on your goals and kind of your priorities and having your priorities set straight and kind of making life decisions depending upon those priorities is just huge. And it's a huge part of kind of dealing with the entire schedule as a whole.
Absolutely. I know you had great parents, both of you guys raising you to do the right thing. But that's got to come from inside of you. And I think, again, it's super important for young folks to understand that it's not only on the field what you guys are doing, it's more the commitment off the field and the integrity. And I'm sure at a program like Notre Dame, the integrity is even more important than what you're doing on the field.
So, Geddy, I know that your pop, like Jordan's pop, because he liked his best friends all have single letter nicknames, H and Q.
It's Q, baby.
Beyond the obvious, talking about Notre Dame and all that. For me, I was excited about having you both on to basically humanize you guys as.
Yeah.
And I don't have your little kid pics to put up here, but you guys started out in the little Western Warriors, doing your thing. Barely could put your helmets on, your bobbleheads, but you just did that and you had fun. But you had dad coaches, right? Mm-hmm. So when did you, and both you guys are college athletes now. Colby's playing football at Wesleyan.
Wow.
Colby, were you linebacker there?
Wide receiver.
Yeah, sorry.
Wide receiver.
Yeah, I got my stats. I can't freaking read them old. But dad coaches, coaching. So I'm a dad coach. It's tough. You have kids that play sports. What are you going to do? You coach them. I was a high school coach of my sons. When do you think dad should not coach you anymore?
Great question.
Does it matter?
Yeah, growing up with Kobe's dad as a coach, it wasn't a big deal. I kind of enjoyed it. I don't know how Kobe felt about it, but, then my dad decided to hop on the train. And, when you're younger, it's not a big deal. I mean, having someone that supports you through anything is awesome to have. But as you grow older, you kind of want to become more independent. And my dad actually followed through high school, too. So he was a football coach over at Pinecrest. Yeah. So I kind of had to deal with that a little bit. We kind of had like a family talk. Like, mom asked me, like, do you want your dad out there? And I kind of answered. I was like, no, not really. I kind of want to do this thing on my own, you know what I'm saying? But he ended up coaching anyways, kind of stayed out of my way. But he was there through anything. And now at this point, I'm pretty thankful for it because, he was able to keep teaching me those life lessons, both on and off the field. And he kind of was there with me step by step, kind of correcting any mistakes I made or anything. And you kind of grow to learn with it. I mean, you don't like it as much at first, but then you realize like, this is a person that will put their life on the line for you, and they're going to look out for you and kind of make sure you're going up the right way, and it's not some random high school guy that you're meeting that may not be, certified or something. And I think it was huge. I loved it.
Yeah, good answer. Thanks, man. Cole, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, for at least in terms of my dad coached me until I think I was in 7th grade, maybe 6th grade. He coached with Coach Harris for a couple of years. So that's kind of where it started to like, he started to stop being like the main guy and Coach Harris kind of took over. But I mean, throughout my whole childhood, he coached me up until middle school. And I mean, it was just, I was young. So a lot of the stuff I wasn't really fully taking in, honestly. But I mean, I loved it. It was my dad. He was coaching me. He taught me a lot. He knows a lot for like that type of level lacrosse.
Yeah,
But
I mean, like for me, just as a dad coach, and I'm a dad, so it's very easy to me. It's very easy to coach you guys. I have sons. I have 3 sons, so I had 30 sons at Kellam. That's how I approached it. You know, all different sons. Everyone's a different person. You know, and to take that time to make that relationship with each of those guys was the most important thing to me. You know, with that, but again, I thought it was easy, just coming from a dad perspective, really. But I was just curious. You know, it was great answers, guys. Colby, I kind of cut you off, man. You carry on with that, but.
I mean, yeah, I just he coached me from when I started playing lacrosse at like 5 up until I was maybe like 14, and I mean, I loved it. Obviously, there was a couple times where like, yeah, he is my dad, so he can't say some more things to me than he can other guys. So if he really had to rip into me for something, he would. But like, I mean, that's just a part of having your dad as a coach, I think, is like, I mean, he can't yell at that kid like that, but he can yell at
Right.
He has to take his anger out on me. It's going to be at me.
Sure.
But I mean, I never took any of that personally. It was never that big of a deal. But yeah, I mean, and then having Coach Q as a coach throughout basically my entire life, I'd say it was. I mean, he's one of the best coaches I've ever had in general. I mean, I've known him since I was like 6 years old. He coached me up until my senior year of high school when he joined Pinecrest. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I love.
So guys, again, back to why I love having you on this right now is because that's exactly what a bunch of us are doing around here. It's the same thing. We got these guys when you guys were little, and most of us agree on this. We throw everything out in the garage. All the sports are in the garage. We demand you pick one, whatever's in season. I'm not picking for you. You pick one, but you're playing sports. And we do that, and then, you know, when do you step away and just start to just say, I love to watch you play, son, go have fun, you know? And it's really, it's tough, because I'm a lacrosse guy. I want to coach. I love coaching. I mean, absolutely. I get lit on fire out there helping the guys.
Guys, I have a question for both of you. What is the best thing a high school kid can do once he graduates high school, right? We got a lot of guys graduating right now, and a lot of guys entering college programs, whether it be football or lacrosse. What is 1 or 2 things, and it doesn't have to be physically related, it can be mental as well. What can those guys do to prepare for college sports?
Honestly, I'd say, at least for my experience at Wesleyan, and this is just kind of, I think, what helped me a little bit get started and made fall camp my freshman year a lot easier, is first off, you have to be coachable, but I really think it's necessary to like know, at least for football, know your playbook and know what's expected out of you. Because when we first got there, I feel like there was kind of an expectation for our freshmen that like, oh, like you're learning a lot of new football concepts, a lot of new pass combinations, a lot of new run plays. So like there's a lot to learn, so you're going to fall behind. So there's kind of an expectation that like they're not going to be ready to play because they don't know their playbook. But if you really do get to know your stuff and the coaches are confident enough to put you in the game and have you do the right thing, I think that'll put you in the best place you can be at. Because, I mean, for college sports, you got recruited there for a reason. So you're most likely going to be a good athlete. You're probably good enough to get on the field. If you know your stuff and you are confident doing it and your coaches have confidence in you, I think that'll probably give you the best chance to either at least play like right off the bat or just eventually like sophomore year, later on freshman year. Because, I mean, most of the guys that we had freshman year, like some of them didn't play because they would screw up as soon as they went in the game. And our coaches would just be like, yeah, you're gone. So I feel like if you can get that stuff down, you help yourself a lot.
Jordan?
Yeah, and going off of that, I'd say after going through my freshman year kind of in both sports, I'd say the biggest thing or or the thing I most regret is taking too long to get to know my teammates. I'm more of a shy guy, more reserved guy. So I got into the locker room and I was nervous. You know, you're at a college spot playing with college athletes. Some guys are older, like way older, and it's like you're kind of nervous. But being creating those relationships with those guys and those connections helps you throughout that entire process. I mean, these guys have already been through it. They'll support you through whatever you have. They'll answer any questions you have. And that's really the biggest thing. I mean, I'd say I took too long doing it myself, but as soon as I did create those, you know, those good connections with my teammates, it became so much easier. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Easier, and
it's a challenge. Like you said, Jordan, you're going in with men, right? Some of these guys nowadays are 23, sometimes 24 years old, but all of them, or most of them, have had a lot of experience at that level, whether it's, again, football, lacrosse, and to be able to open yourself up and take lessons from those guys is important. Jordan, I do have one question I can't not ask you, and it's sounds like a simple one, but I don't think it is. With what you guys were able to accomplish this year, and what I mean by that is not just winning a national championship. We talked about it last week on our podcast. I'm 46. I've been watching lacrosse for 42, 43 years, really. I mean, every NCAA final for a long time. How are you guys able to separate that much from these other great teams with fantastic lacrosse players who are at the top level of college in the world? How are you guys able to do that? Not just scoring goals or playing defense or making saves. What separated you guys so much from other teams?
Yeah, Jordan, I always say that the X's and O's are kind of overrated, so it's probably a good answer right here.
Yeah, 100%. I think the biggest thing is it starts within the locker room. It's not the coaches. It's not really kind of anyone. It's the amount of guys you have on that team, and it starts within the locker room. And I say our locker room with our leaders was through the roof. I mean, it's every little detail is harped upon within the locker room, and that kind of translates to everything else with school and in the game. It's ridiculous. I mean, your locker has to be a certain way. Your helmet has to be a certain way. If it's pointed a different way, you're going to hear about it from the older guys. If your chair's not pushing, you're going to hear about it. You pick up after yourself. You know, the guys are cleaning the trash up after everyone leaves the locker room, so the janitors aren't doing it. I mean, those little things every day after practice.
Do everything.
100%.
Excellence and watch your life change, right, Jordan? That's what
Yes, sir.
Says, baby.
Yeah, and again, at that level, even on the field too, at that level that you guys performed at is really incredible. Scott, you have anything at all?
Picking up the trash, though.
We have a referee with us, guys, so be nice to him, even though he's not going to.
No, I'm loving the conversation. I love to circle back to the beginning. Kind of the first question is you guys being from Florida. I'm from Denver, and I remember like lacrosse was just getting popular. Like, you know, kids were just starting to get recruited to go places, and I always felt like I had a chip on my shoulder. Like, you know, like, oh, this guy from Colorado, he can't play, and I felt like it made me better because like I'm like, well, just because you grew up in Maryland and you've been playing your whole life doesn't mean you're better than me. You know, like, did you guys feel that chip from being from Florida?
I mean, I'll say when we were younger, I think our first tournament going up there, it was definitely like that. And then I remember we went to Maryland for the first time, and we got blown out the water our first time. So it was like it was definitely a rude awakening when we first went up there. But I mean, I do think it's great that like I played travel in middle school and high school. I stopped freshman year, and I just thought that like we went up there a couple times, and yeah, we were beating some of those Long Island teams, and I was like, yeah, like this is Florida ball, baby. Like we got speed. I mean, we're just like y'all. Like, I mean, you guys might have more teams. It's definitely a little more like you got 4 teams in one area, but I'm like, we're playing with you guys, so it's nice. It's nice to do that.
I love that.
Yeah, tell me about your. Don't you guys got a buddy going to Fogo at Richmond, don't you? From that team as well. Yeah.
Our good friend Jared. He played same thing as Jordan and I. We've been friends with him since we were 5-6 years old. He's been basically on every single team we've been on. I mean, he went to a different high school than us, but I mean, we caught up over winter break. And yeah, he's basically been on the same path as us, just playing football and lacrosse with us.
Guys, some love up here, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's great too.
Tell us a story about Dodgertown.
Dodgertown? Oh.
Tell me about Dodgertown.
Yeah, we had a tournament.
Don't forget.
We had a tournament in Vero Beach, and it was just it was a great time when we went up there. We won the tournament, but But I mean, yeah, it's just like a little
Jordan,
village.
Did your meteor guy tell you couldn't answer this one?
My dad didn't say anything about this, but I'm smart enough to hide some details here. I'll just say they had a great time up there. Nice 3-day weekend.
Don't ruin your guys' chances of
I know,
becoming
you're right.
a senator or
No, we
something.
were like 10 years old. We were like 10 years old. It was mostly our dads. Our dads were a little. I'll just say they had a great time that weekend. That's all.
They got to drive. They got to put up with. They got to put up with the smell of you guys. They're allowed to have a little fun. You know, Those dads are allowed to have a
Coach
little
Hargrave,
fun.
I'm not sure if we had more fun than the kids actually.
I was gonna say I was coaching and I was having fun too.
I didn't even have a helmet on.
Guys, what has we ask all of our guests this question, especially guys that are currently playing. Both of you guys, tell us something, or it can be many things, of what lacrosse has taught you guys for your life.
Boy.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I can start with this. I mean, going through every circuit of lacrosse, I mean, from the Western Warriors to travel ball, to high school ball, to college ball, it is more than just a sport. I mean, obviously you learn the lesson. In any sport, you learn lessons on the field that translate to off the field, and your coaches teach you that. But the connections you make and the friendships you make along the way are ones you want to keep and work for. You don't want to just be out there playing sports and just, I'm just playing. I don't really care about my teammates. You want to create those relationships, and I mean, they're lifelong relationships. I mean, look at me and Colby. I mean, we're both at colleges playing our respective sports, and we've had this relationship ever since we started playing sports, and that's where it started. And those strong relationships like that go throughout the entire way. I mean, I've just finished up my freshman year at Notre Dame, and I already have lifelong friends that I could call anytime or any situation I'm in. I mean, that's one of the biggest things, and that's what I love so much about the sport and what it's done for me in my life.
Yeah, I'd kind of say something similar to along the lines of like, I mean, when I was going to college, there was a time where I wasn't fully considering even playing a sport, but I think being on a team and having that group of guys is something that, like, when you go work a job, like you'll never experience something like that again. Like,
that's right.
And I think that's something that, like, you carry on, the people that you meet and the friendships. Like, I mean, it's crazy to think that, like, when I'm older, I'm still going to be talking to people from my high school, middle school, my college. And then just another thing is, I think that's kind of important is, I'm sure Coach H, you know that when with Coach Harris, he's coached me and Jordan for probably 8 years now. And one of his biggest things is, like, yeah, he's teaching you to be a lacrosse player, but he also is, like, he tests you every single time he can to just be a better person and, like, just a better person in general, know how to talk to people, respect people, and carry yourself in a way that you're not arrogant, you know, just being like a negative person overall. So, I mean, at least with Coach Harris coaching me for so long, I think he's taught me so much about lacrosse, but also just being a better person in life. And that's something that I feel like good coaches are able to do and carry over. It's not just about the sport you're playing. It's about who you are.
Absolutely.
All the stuff you just said, you know, and I told you I got my group text of your dad and Nidell and Tominski and Hall and all the boys on that thing. Georgie, all these guys. You're gonna have the same thing, but it's really an amazing thing. The connections that you make. But to me, when I'm coaching, again, I don't care about the scoreboard. I care about you guys. I'm coaching your 27-year-old self, hopefully.
That's right.
So I'm hopefully helping you develop the grit that you're going to freaking need when you get out there and it's real. And you got to go feed yourself and earn $1.
Well, and for the most part, the guys who are successful, not always, but the players and teams who are successful, a lot of the times it doesn't matter what division it is or what sport it is. They're made up of good people. And they're led by good leaders who are good people.
Colby, you said it. You speak to something I would like to think I live by is positivity. And your dad can attest to this. I mean, my senior superlative was "I love life," and it's true today. You know, all of it. And my new phrase has been "Amor fati." It means embrace all of it, the good and the bad, basically. It's all good. It's all lessons. Back to your lessons. Yeah. You know, the best lessons. Are some of the hardest and most painful things you'll have to deal with. But if you approach it properly and glean the good out of it, you're going to be a rock star. I promise you. promise you. Mentally.
One last question for you guys, and you can do it quick. What does your summer look like as a college athlete? Both of you guys, as far as what you're doing in the summer.
Sleep, eat mom's food.
You can go first.
Yeah, you can take it, Colby. You got it.
Okay. I'm Division III, so it's definitely a lot lighter than Jordan's. But for us, like, they send out.
There's no lighter.
Yeah.
College was Division III.
It's not
He's worked
strict,
harder than
I'd say.
Faison for sure. Just because he thinks he's cool, he's got the whole Notre Dame football team on the sideline cheering for him. No way. Hey, Jordan, I thought that was the coolest freaking thing I saw.
Cool.
Seeing the support in that. That's
your coach was there.
That was a body language thing for Notre Dame, man. It's awesome seeing that. Honestly, Kellam last night, back to my old team, watching them advance to the state tournament. Who was on the fence? Kellam football team.
Yes.
Watching lacrosse.
Yeah.
And I'm going, you jokers need to be on this field right now playing with helmets on. Because everybody that was cool when I grew up played football in the fall and played lacrosse in the spring. But
Same
anyway,
Long Island.
sorry, carry on.
Sorry, guys.
So I mean, I do the past 2 summers I've done the same thing. In the morning, I wake up and from like 9:30 to 12, I do a workout. It's set up by Perform. It's like a gym down here. The guy coaches lacrosse, basketball, football. They have NFL guys, college guys come in, and it's basically just they do field work for an hour, and then they do like weight room stuff for an hour, and that's my morning 4 times a week. My dad will do like some little workout he does with his friends. I'll pop over there every now and then, just like
little workout. Your dad's a beast. He'll kick your ass still. I know.
I'll hop over there. I'll do that every now and then just mostly, at least for me, like in the afternoon, like I have to work, so I got a job. I'll work.
Yeah,
so
good. Kids need more suffering, like work.
Yeah,
That's great.
5 days a week, work, and then for my workout, I go 4 days a week, and then the weekends I take off, and then that's mostly it until I go back to school.
Mm-hmm. Jordan, are you allowed to answer?
Yeah. So for us, they'll have us doing summer school up in.
Oh no, we got cut off. They had here.
There you go.
Oh.
There we go.
Sorry, Jordan. Go ahead. Repeat yourself.
Yep. Yeah, so they'll have us going up doing summer school up at Notre Dame. So I'll head out here like Sunday to go up and do that. But our mornings will consist of, conditioning, some kind of field work, and then we'll get a little break, and then we'll go into doing our classes or whatever time your classes are. And then we'll have another workout that there'll be a lift later, and those kind of flip. It'll be run in the morning or lift in the morning, and then vice versa. And then the rest of my time is normally spent kind of chilling with my teammates, getting to know them, or studying the playbook.
Excellent. Well, we as you get older, you guys are going to see when you get old like us three, you get a little crotchety, and you worry about. I have a 17-year-old. You worry about the younger generation and if they're going to be up to par with what we think we were and our grandparents were. And to meet you two guys and to see what you're doing and the two type of human beings that you are is really the most important thing. Your on the field accomplishments are great, and that's good, but that's fleeting. And it's who you are for the rest of your life.
Yep.
What is most important. For us to meet two guys like you is super awesome. It's really fantastic, and we thank you guys
It's going to put you in
so much. And you guys may not realize it, and maybe both of you, I'm sure you do. Young kids need this. They need to see two guys like you, whether it's Division 1 or 3. I really don't care. I'm proud of both of you. But they need to see kids putting the work in, being good people, more important, and staying the course with something than just giving up if you had a bad play and you're on Instagram and somebody sees it and makes fun of you. So it's super important for us to have you guys on, and we thank you very, very much.
Mm-hmm. Yep, thank you for having us.
Stories.
Thank you guys.
There it is.
We got it.
Look at those.
We got it. See?
Absolutely.
Why not you?
That's right.
Why not you, local lacrosse nerds?
That's right.
Okay.
Well, guys, thank you so much.
Literally, it's just been an awesome call, guys. I succeeded. What I wanted to do is basically humanize you guys, show your story about literally growing up together. We all hit on the friendships of this and the lifelong stuff that comes out of this. We spoke to, I think, in many different ways, the grit that we develop from lacrosse in this case, and all the stuff you're going to do. So yeah, love it. Love you guys reinforcing all that with us. The body language talk, all of it, man. It's really awesome. What a blast.
Yeah,
what a
this
blast.
was great, guys.
Love it.
Yep. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of
Yeah,
course,
good
anytime,
stuff. Good
anytime.
stuff, guys.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Over and out.
All right, over and out. Thanks. Coach Holava, do you have something to lead us out? And next week, guys, will be our last podcast for the season. Obviously, we got to follow up after our Kellam boys go win the state championship. So
if I wake up in time to make it to the 10 a.m. face-off, Coach Hargrave, but I think I will because I'm old and I'm up at 5 a.m. anyway, so I'll be ready.
I'll be up coaching. We got a 9 o'clock game. Again, high school kids at club are supposed to have the 12 and 1 o'clock games. God, look at me. God knows I need my sleep. I'm an ugly guy
I
nowadays.
sleep like a champ, and they say that when you sleep well, that means you're at peace. So I'm gonna take that as a win.
You got something to lead us out for our mindset?
I'm gonna go with Mindset Monday on Wednesday today. And this is really for everyone, always, but especially Coach Hargrave. We got a bunch of guys and gals graduating this year, about to enter the world of what's next.
On their own.
Post-college. Okay, so I got about 4 things I wanna discuss and read here for us. Okay, and here we go. Scotty Roberts, you get to see Coach H maybe cry here in person, so you can remind everyone he does have tear ducts and they still work. But anyway, 4 things I think we need to know before we go into the world, out into the world. Also, I'm working on my enunciation of my words and speaking properly as I watch myself on the video, Coach Hargrave. So I would love the critique when we're done.
Sure.
4 things that we need to know before we go out into the world. Remember these things, and you'll be the best person that you can be, in my humble opinion. First, look at this pencil. Regular old number 2. Everybody see it? There you go. We know that in order for it to become a useful pencil, from time to time, again and again, okay, it's going to have to go through a resharpening.
I really like that.
A resharpening. You see it? There we go. All right. Well, again, if this pencil could feel, okay, we can imagine how painful that might be, being sharpened, okay? But that's what it takes for it to be a useful pencil, okay? Life is much the same, okay? Painful experiences and challenges come to us all, okay? As I look at the guy in the mirror right now. But it is through these opportunities, okay, that we build character and we grow. And that's all we can really ask of ourselves, guys. The second thing is to keep in mind that you'll be able to correct many of the mistakes you make along the way. Just like this eraser right here. See that? I'm erasing myself. Not really. Yeah, if we learn from our mistakes, then they're not mistakes, are they? They're lessons we can use throughout our life going forward to do better next time. Okay? Third, okay, just like the pencil, okay, every place that you are used, so to speak, okay, leave your mark, okay, write your own story. Write your own story. Think of the stumbling blocks, the stepping stones, and never stop writing your story. Okay, guys? Now you might cry. Here he goes. The voice starts to crackle.
All right.
Coach Hargrave
I'm
laughs
ready
over
for
the
it.
monitor. Roberts is not going to laugh at me, probably.
I'm ready.
He's sensitive like me. Fourth. Always remember the most important part of you is what's on the inside. Okay? You'll always win when you spread kindness in silence. Karma listens even when no one else does. Amor fati. That's all I got for this week.
I'm going to come out and say this was the best show ever.
Hopefully we've gotten better. We've tried.
We're trying.
The last metaphor for the pencil is you get older and shorter as you get older.
I was hoping to find. I didn't find a
Can
show.
that pencil get wider? Because that's the way I'm going. My wife Marina was pulling out pictures the other night from when Owen and God bless my son in heaven, Reed, was little. And I'm like, man, I must have been 170.
Just for the record, I was.
I'm gonna cry
I
now.
was 158 this morning.
Oh my God! Can I give you 20?
I'm going up. We're good. We're happy. Let's go.
All right. Well,
Let's
we
go.
will be back next week with our final show for the season. Thank you to Scotty Roberts.
Thank you guys for
Thank
having
you
me.
to Colby and Jordan.
Thanks, guys.
Great
Appreciate
show.
it. Awesome. Time.
Go
Good
Kellam.
blast.
Let's go
Let's
Knights.
go
Kellam.
Knights.
Go
Bring it
Kellam.
home,
Bring it
baby.
home.
Bring it home.
Thank you, everybody.
Over and out.